Hey everyone, this is New Bedford, Massachusetts resident CHP. That's Crazy Half Portuguese, Mr. Eric Lima over here. You are watching yet another video episode from the pilot mini-series, which during this holiday season, Bridget is filling in between the recently completed EML-TV that accumulated 100,000 episodes, and into the new third season of my YouTube adventures called WEML-TV Channel 77, the YouTube station identification of yours truly. This is the bridge up. This is episode number 29, the bridge up. Got to get going with this. I don't got a whole lot, 15 minutes worth of time till NXT UK comes on. We're going to talk about the WarGames Fallout. It was crazy as usual. NXT's always been very, very interesting with the WarGame fallouts. And as you know, Finn Balor kicked off NXT. Says all eyes on me now. Cut the team sports. It's going to be every man for himself. Pete Dunne arrives. Says, hey, I was part of the winning team. I should get a shot. Kyle O'Reilly comes out. Peter. But, you know, Pete Dunne did not win that matchup. He says, listen, my team won the War Games. I should get a shot. Damian Priest comes out. He wants to challenge Finn Balor. And then Scarlett arrives, and in the form of, as a representative, Karrion Kross. I said, interesting. You got four guys that want a piece of Finn Balor. And then Finn Balor walked away. Excuse me. Finn Balor walked away. He told Scarlett, "You tell your boy this. When he's ready, I'll be ready." Right? He walks away. Scarlett's about to walk away. Damian Priest, a smoke show. It's a term that we hadn't heard from her about her in a while. And why don't you come out and fight me like a man instead of from behind? And then Scarlett walked away with a smile. And I'm like, ooh boy, this is not going to be good. Then, while Pete Dunne was walking away about to be interviewed, Killian Dane attacked him. Drake Maverick tried to pull off him. And then they had a matchup, the Cruiserweight action with Jake Atlas, who has been on a roll, against Isaiah Swerve Scott. Jake Atlas was a highly good contest. Jake Atlas did pick up the victory, and Jake Atlas went to go shake Swerve Scott's hand, but Swerve Scott was not in the mood. And I was like, looks like Swerve Scott needs to gotta chill out. So I'm sure Isaiah Swerve Scott will want to be Cruiserweight champion again. He's very, very hungry. That division is really, really heating up, so you better watch out for that. Jake Atlas wins that matchup. Tommaso Ciampa cut a promo, and guess who he calls out? Cameron Grimes! I'm like, oh, God, here we go. Cameron Grimes is going to get killed in this matchup. So, so Cameron Grimes' big mouth is going to get him into trouble once again, and I'll tell you what. If I was Cameron Grimes, I'd run for it. Anyways, and then they had they had a triple threat match between three tag teams. The Grizzled Young Veterans, that's the team of Zach Gibson and James Drake. Imperium, represented by Fabian Aichner and Marcel Bartel. And Everrise with Matt Martel and Chase Parker. It was a heck of a matchup. Everrise had some good strategies going into this one. Hide and let the other two teams go at it. They took the opportunity, but in the end, it was the Grizzled Young Veterans who live up to their name by being smart, picking up the victory, and they could be next in line against Lorcan and Birch for the tag team titles. Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Tony Storm. Tony Storm says, hey, I'm in the part of the winning team. You're going to see a whole new Tony Storm, but I want to be the NXT Women's Champion. Io Shirai interrupts. He says, listen, I have no problem with you. It's not that because I don't like you. I have no problem with you, but I just don't like you. And the two started brawling. I was like, oh, Mae Young Classic rematch of 2018. Here we go. Right? And then Ember Moon gets involved, fights Tony Storm, grabs her, throws her back in the ring. Io did her thing. Io Shirai. Tony Storm, rematch. Gotta like that. And then the match between Grimes and Ciampa happened. And despite the fact that one of Thatcher's students, Tyler Rust, a newcomer to NXT, got involved, Tommaso Ciampa did pick up the victory over Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes started to run his mouth again. I'm Cameron Grimes going to the moon. I'm like, oh, God, here we go. And then he goes, yeah, I'm Cameron Grimes. Grimes! I'm Cameron Grimes! And all of a sudden, Diddy Thatcher attacks him and then breaks his ankle. It's what you get, Cameron Grimes, for running him out. Cameron Grimes is like a Run DMC song. You talk too much, and boy, you never shut up. Keep running that. You ran that mouth. Who knew? You know, when he was Trevor Lee in Impact Wrestling, he was kind of quiet. But now, Cameron Grimes, let's do it. To the moon. You think Dexter Lumis was bad, Cameron? Timothy Thatcher's gonna bust you up like Tommaso Ciampa just did. Woo! Cameron Grimes knows when to shut up. And then Mackenzie Mitchell once again interviewed Raquel Gonzalez and talk about her big main event match against Ember Moon. Raquel Gonzalez says, "I'm the one that pinned Io Shirai. I should be getting a shot at the women's title." Boy. And then meanwhile, in a dark place, Xia Li and Boa continued their training. Xia Li was punching the wood there that Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan used, and poor Xia Li, her fingers are bleeding, everything else. Boa's getting hit with kendo sticks left and right. But then this mysterious woman with some makeup on her face, some war paint, I should say, and I'm like, oh boy, if that's not Karen Q or Meiko Satomura, it's got to be somebody much more lethal. Could be Santana Garrett. We have not seen her in quite a while. We never know who. We don't know who is the mysterious woman calling the shots in the harsh training of Xia Li and Boa. Will be in. Well, the Gargano family arrived to the ring and they're cutting the promo. Johnny Gargano's been running his mouth, and then there was a trophy presentation with Shotzi, with a doll that looks like Shotzi Blackheart. I don't think Shotzi Blackheart would be too pleased. I'll tell you one thing: if I were Shotzi Blackheart, I would punch Candice LeRae in the face. But I'm not Shotzi Blackheart, so I don't punch women. So bearing that in mind, Shotzi Blackheart is not going to be very happy, nonetheless. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see if this feud is going to continue. But meanwhile, Damian Priest didn't want to ruin the party today, because Damian Priest was supposed to team up with Leon Ruff next week against Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory. And Damian Priest goes, "Hey, that's good." And hey, Austin Theory, I'm surprised it was you. Hey, listen, you got that pipe so I can shove it up rear end, right? And just as soon as he's about to head to the ring, Karrion Kross comes out of nowhere, attacks him from behind, and just beats him up, and then runs out, jumps into his car, heads off while Scarlett is laughing. Damian Priest has called out Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross looks like he's okay. He's ready to go. This NXT title picture is going to get very interesting. The North American Championship, however, well, we'll see what happens. Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Tyler Rust, asking why he got involved in the matchup. But then Malcolm Bivens shows up and now is offered his services to Tyler Rust. It seems like to me Malcolm Bivens has got a new man to manage. He's got Indu Sher, which we have not seen in a while. I don't know if they're back in India. Couldn't go anywhere because of the pandemic and whatnot. We will see what happens in the meantime, in between time, as my friend Brenda Scruggs would say. So it'd be very interesting to see what develops from this situation. Malcolm Bivens, Tyler Rust, a newcomer, and I think that could be a good start. Pete Dunne took on Killian Dane, a battle of England versus Ireland. Pete Dunne being from England and Killian Dane from Ireland. NXT's got this international flavor, which that's what I like about NXT. That's why I think NXT's got advantage over Raw and SmackDown, because they got more of an international flavor than both Raw and SmackDown do. And the match was doing good until Lorcan and Birch tried to get involved. Drake Maverick tried to fend them off. And then all of a sudden, Killian Dane was distracted by that. He helped out Drake Maverick. Goes back to the ring. Pete Dunne hits the bitter end. 1, 2, 3. Pete Dunne picks up the victory. That's a huge victory for Pete Dunne. And it seems like to me sending a message to Finn Balor himself. And then Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Leon Ruff, who was supposed to team up with Damian Priest. But then Gargano Theory says, "Oh, you're a tough guy. You could take us on a handicap match, right?" But then Kushida appeared out of nowhere and offered to be Leon Ruff's partner. Leon Ruff smiled, fist bump. So instead of Priest, it will be Kushida and Leon Ruff to take on Gargano and Theory next week on NXT. Going to be an excellent matchup. And then the main event happened. Rhea Reina, I almost said Reina Gonzalez. Raquel Gonzalez took on Ember Moon. Hard fought matchup. These ladies went back and forth. In the end, though, Raquel Gonzalez never gave up. Did her one-arm power bomb, pinned Moon 1, 2, 3. She reinforced her reasons why she should be in line for the NXT Women's Championship. Then Toni Storm arrives and get a little payback to Ember Moon, attacking her. And then Rhea Ripley arrives. Will the Aussies go at it? That's going to be interesting to say the least. And then the stare down between Raquel Gonzalez and Rhea Ripley. I think there's some continuations going on, and I would not be surprised if Rhea Ripley and Ember Moon join forces against Toni Storm and Raquel Gonzalez. With Dakota Kai hurt because of Ember Moon's eclipse on the 2 chairs at WarGames, it will be very interesting. Okay, now I'm going to introduce a new quick segment before I watch NXT UK. And how about WWE? I call this WFW Thoughts. That's Wrestling Fantasy Warfare. Because we've seen a lot of developments happening, especially between AEW and Impact Wrestling. And I figured, what would be a great fantasy matchup? And we're going to start with WWE first, and I'm sure Von Baskin will probably be interested in this one. How about, you talk about mind games, all right? You talk about mind games, you talk about Randy Orton and the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Let's talk about the Fiend Bray Wyatt, for instance. Who would like to see Fiend Bray Wyatt go one-on-one against? How about someone from NXT who also can play mind games? How about Karrion Kross versus The Fiend? Imagine those two gentlemen with the mind games they can play, go at it. You think Karrion Kross is afraid of The Fiend? I don't think so. But add the factor you got two of the most beautiful ladies in the WWE in Scarlett and Alexa Bliss. Now, far be it from me, it could be, every male wrestling fan's wet dream of a cat fight. But it could not only be a physical cat fight. It could be a mental cat fight between the two ladies, if you think about it. Scarlett didn't have to say a word. Alexa Bliss has got those spooky eyes of hers. And if you think about it, imagine those two teams in a mixed tag. All the mind games they could be playing. This is going to be interesting, folks, to say the least. If that match even happened, that will be something to behold. We'll see what happens. Right now the Fiend's got embroiled in a feud with Randy Orton, but Fiend versus Karrion Kross will be interesting to have. All right, I'll give you more of a WFW thoughts on. That's going to be my new segment, fantasy wrestling, fantasy warfare, because with everything going on, figured let's see what we can do. Okay, I'll see you guys later, guys. Have a wonderful day. Episode 29 of The Bridge Up is complete, and I will see you on episode 30 when I do my NXT UK recap, which is going to be happening in 3 minutes. Okay, I'll see you guys later. I got to go to the WWE Network and get this done. Bye.